This final video that we're watching today comes to us from MewZe's. So go over to their channel right now, especially if it's the first time we've watched one of their videos. Hit that link that just showed up above my head, and if you're on YouTube, this will be down in the description below. Their video is talking about Dead by Daylight's toxic community, which is not a concept that should be foreign at all to you. You should probably know by now that DBD, as much as there's great people in this community, there's a lot of, you know, whiny babies and unfortunately not very good people in it as well. It's a tale as old as time. It's kind of something that, like, it's kind of like a dead horse. You beat the dead horse, you know. It's like something that we've heard over and over and over and over and over. So I'm interested if they have anything really new to say, or they're just kind of going to complain about the community some more, because that's usually what like a lot of these videos boil down to. It's just kind of people just complaining, just people just whining. It's like, hey, this community is so terrible, and that's kind of it. So hopefully they add something a little bit different. Have some a little bit better analysis than just, hey, it's a thing and it sucks, because it's kind of getting old hearing about it.
As a really weird community. Now, if you don't know what the game is, let me explain. Dead by Daylight describes itself as an asymmetrical, multiplayer, survival, horror game, where a team of 4 survivors go up against 1 killer. There are tons of different maps to play on, but the goal is always the same. As a survivor, you have to repair 5 generators by pressing E on them, and once all 5 generators have been repaired, the exit gates will get power. Open gates, run into abyss. As the killer, on the other hand, your goal is to sacrifice the survivors.
I'm like, I realize in moments like this that I'm getting old, because this is very much edited for the younger audience. Just like there's sound effects, there's stuff happening every 2 seconds. Like it's just like pay attention, and I'm just like, holy moly, like slow it down a bit.
To the entity by gently placing them on meat hooks. They can then be rescued by other survivors, or by attempting to unhook themselves if they saw this image once. But if they spend too much time on the hook, or just get hooked 3 times, they're dead. Also, there are some items that allow you to just straight up kill the survivor by hand, but come on. That's mean, you don't want to be mean. So that's the basics of the game. Survivors survive, and the killer murders. But the main selling point of DBD, that's the cool way of saying it by the way, kinda chill with it, is the collaborations they do. Every few months, a new chapter comes out in Dead by Daylight, which usually includes a new map, a new killer, and a new survivor. And these can either be completely original characters made by the Dead by Daylight team, or licensed characters. It's supposed to be like a museum of horror, which means you can get matchups like Leon from Resident Evil going up against Leatherface, Bill from Left 4 Dead going up against Jason, or Cheryl from Silent Hill.
I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this when there's so much happening all at once. Like, where's my space to put input in here? Like, how am I supposed to react to this? This is not... I will try to find a way. Most of my grievances with DBD aren't even the game itself. It's just like the community's shenanigans. I don't think the community is that bad. I think the community is that bad if you choose to be that involved in the community. And that's coming from somebody who streams this game almost every day and plays it now more than they ever have. If you choose to be in the bad ends of the community and just get way too involved with the community, yeah, it's going to seem like the community is absolutely terrible. If you only spend your days and exposure into the DBD community just by only browsing Twitter, only browsing the DBD Reddit, like, yeah, you're going to think the community is absolutely terrible. But like, that's on you, really. That's on you.
Going up against Springtrap. Oh, what?
Oh, Myers Jason? I thought it was a joke. I took it as a joke, that's why I didn't say anything. I don't think the guy's stupid. I think clearly from like the non-stop memeing that they were trying to intentionally get your goat.
Added Springtrap to the game? Huh. Weird. Now, if you're not a part of the DBD community, you're probably thinking, or at least should be thinking, wow, this sounds really cool.
I'm like 95% sure he was joking. I don't think he was being that dumb, especially with how all the memes that are going on. Comments anything balance related is an awful experience? Why care? Everybody's gonna have bad takes. I don't think that makes the community awful. That just makes them kind of like misguided, biased, and dumb. I don't think that makes the community toxic. It's just like they bias and they want things for themselves.
The fact that there's so many characters available that includes a bunch of horror icons means that it has something for everyone. And the fact that the gameplay is completely unique, and horror franchises often have surprisingly nice communities.
Hello, Reddit.
This game's community is probably great. I'm sure they don't take it too seriously, they're kind, and they let people play how they want. No, despite almost every odd, for some reason, this game has one of the most toxic communities in gaming.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Go play COD. Go play Siege. Go play any of those games. Go play Dota, League. No, not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. So, yeah, that's an over-exaggeration. You've been playing since CB first dropped on console 2017. Oh wow, so you've been playing a long time. Speaking of that, I can play with you after this video's over. This last one we're watching. Hey Sushi, it's good to see you, friend. Hope you're doing well.
Now, obviously, this does not mean everyone. I'm not going to go around saying that there aren't some great, positive people who play this game, and if you're one of those people, I think you're cool. But a pretty large portion of the players are really entitled. Let me explain. So because matches of Dead by Daylight only have 5 people in them, for some reason a lot of the players seem to think that everyone has to play by their personal rules. The best way to describe it is like this. You know how when you were in school and you were playing...
I'd rather have somebody being entitled than like calling people slurs or like giving out death threats and stuff. That's like almost common every match in a game of Siege. You know? Like, I don't think it's... I don't think so. Used to be awful? I mean, I've been playing this game for almost 4 years. I don't remember it being worse at any point. It's kind of just always been this way.
Let's say hide and seek with some friends. And there would always be that one kid. That one kid that would just completely change the rules of the game when they got caught. You know what I mean? Here, let me visualize it for you. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
hi.
whoa!
Hi.
What are you doing? Oh, I was gonna kill you. Because I'm the killer. I'm literally in the safe zone. I'm doing a gen.
There's a safe zone?
First of all, I'm not even playing, okay? I'm not playing. Second of all, I'm doing a gen. Stop gen camping. Third of all, what is that? This? This is a hammer. I was gonna, you know, kind of kill you with it. And let me guess, you're only using it because it's meta, and it's broken, and you're toxic. Oh, well, my goal as...
You're actually like, this is like... People act like this is like unique to Dead by Daylight. This is every game. People talk about if it's like League, it's like certain champions are broken or overpowered and they get reworks. And like we were just talking about Siege COD, certain guns are OP, certain weapons are OP, and they need to be nerfed. And like this is a thing in like every gaming community. Like this is not unique to Dead by Daylight, like literally at all. It's to gamers in general.
To kill you. And the game gave me this thing that's good at killing, so I thought I should probably, you know, use it. You know what? Just... Okay, what are you doing now? And it's a Lightborn user, great. You know, people like you are ruining this game. Due to how this game works, it's very easy for people to make the game not fun for other players. And while doing this usually won't be effective at actually winning the game, it will be effective at making the other person want to uninstall the game. For example, a group of survivors could just stun the killer over and over again, which doesn't help you.
Stunning the killer over and over is toxic? Huh? What? Stunning is toxic? Huh? What?
win, but is something you can do. And as the killer, you could just go for one person the entire game and camp them while they're on the hook, which, yeah, gets you like 1 kill, but you probably wouldn't end up getting anyone else and lose the game.
Chain together
But
head-ons? That's still not even toxic. Stunning the killer using a perk that you brought? That's not toxic. Even in that context, is stupid. What the fuck are they talking about?
sometimes, people will stretch this to the point where they believe that if you don't play the game fairly, you're the worst person to ever exist ever. For example, I've seen survivors who think that because they've just been unhooked, that means that the killer is not allowed to go for them. So when they run straight at the killer because they think that they've picked up an invincibility star and end up getting chased again, they'll get angry at the killer and rant at them in the post-game chat. Or you'll have people who will accuse the killer of camping hooked survivors because they led them back over to the hook while in a chase.
Most of the time I end up camping or tunneling, it's because of poor gameplay from the survivors. Like, somebody unhooks directly in my face, and then the person tries to take an endurance hit right out the hook, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm chasing you now.
Now, the eagle-eyed viewer may have realized that I've only given examples of toxic survivors, and I'm not saying that it's almost always the survivors that are toxic.
I mean, it's more
I'm
of them.
not saying that.
Clearly more survivors
I'm not saying
to
that.
killer players in the game, so makes sense.
The level of entitlement in this community is something I can't really say I've ever experienced anywhere else. There are definitely much more toxic communities
That's a lie. That's an exaggeration for views.
out there, don't get me wrong, and as I said before, not everyone who plays this game is a weirdo, but there's just a ridiculous amount of people who take this goofy horror game way too seriously. I don't care if your water broke, ready the f*** up. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. Each character in Dead by Daylight has 3 perks, which each give you an advantage in their own specific ways. And while this makes explaining Dead by Daylight to a new player the most difficult and embarrassing thing humanly possible, that isn't nearly as annoying as the people who cannot fathom that someone would want to use a perk that is good. Because this is a video game, some perks are going to be naturally better than others. That's just how it is. No game is perfectly balanced in every way. But some people in this game refuse to believe that someone will want to use the best perks because they want to win the game? Huh? Putting this logic in literally any other scenario shows how stupid it is. Watch. Imagine you're in a baking competition and you're presented with 2 options. You could have all the ingredients you could ever want plus a mystery box and 10 grand, or
Well, I think that's the part you're missing is like the 10 grand thing. That's not on the line. It's not a serious game. It's an ASIM, which means that by nature things are very unbalanced, and we can try to balance them as much as we can. But like at the end of the day, determining the best man is not always easy because there's so much RNG in the game, and there's no feasible prize besides just getting blood points. So it's like that's why.
for cable ties. It's time to decide. No, okay, we don't need a countdown. Okay, you're choosing the first one. All right. Actually, I chose the cable ties. Shut up, man. Obviously, you would choose the
YouTube
first
comments do
option.
be like that,
Anyone
though.
with a brain would. But imagine if the other contestants got angry at you for
Looking at
choosing
you,
it,
Daryl.
despite the fact that they made the same choice. This is what baffles me the most about these people. It's like they think this game is their 9-to-5 job that they have to log into every single day, and they exist in their own little bubble where everyone has to do things the way that they want. And if the person they're going up against wants to win the game, they need to die. I'll even admit it. I use Lightborn, the perk that stops survivors from being able to flashlight stun you, almost every single time I play, because it's really good and I get a
Lightborn is not good.
Stunning amount of serotonin when I people off with it. I also like to use the perk that lets you one-shot people. I also like to use the perk that makes you run faster while you're injured. And honestly, I sometimes even bring the gun item because it's like really broken. You can just kill the killer. I don't really understand why this game, out of all of them, has to be so unwelcoming, because I think it's really fun. Because the gameplay is almost entirely unique to this game, it's really fun to just get better. In other competitive multiplayer games,
I agree with that.
if you're good at one, you're probably going to be good at all of them. If you can shoot good
I mean,
in Fortnite,
yeah, Ezreal, you wouldn't say that perk's good. Perk's not good. It's just stealing fun away from one side at the expense of the survivors playing sweatier against you. It just hurts everybody involved. It's not a good perk.
you can probably shoot good in Counter-Strike, which means you can probably shoot good in COD, and R6, and Apex, and Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. But you won't be good at Dead by Daylight because it's completely different. The competitive gaming scene is dominated by shooters. So how come the one game that's different and really enjoyable has to have such a community? You don't have to get angry because the killer is trying to kill you. It's kind of in the name. You don't have to call the Dwight that looped you for 4 minutes a disgusting, sweaty abomination. He just survived well. Oh, he teabagged you at the exit gates? Okay, that's fair enough then. To put it simply, a lot of Dead by Daylight players are very immaturely entitled. And if you think you might be one of those people, come on. Like, there are more important things to worry about. Such as this video's giveaway for 100 tons of smoke fuse. Click the like button, the subscribe button, and your house will be
That was a video of all time. That was a video of all time. I am not the target audience of this. I do not think. But if you're going to come out here and say that Lightborn is good, like that's a good meta perk, and you're going to pretend to be an authority on the game enough to tell everyone how the game is, how the state of the game is, how the state of the community is, you gotta be willing to admit that perhaps you do not have the best take. Perhaps you are not an expert on the subject. Perhaps you should be somebody who is not preaching about how the game's community is and how things are if you don't even know what perks are good. We can talk about Lightborn, you know, run whatever you want. You paid your $20. Ideally, it's a perk that just takes away the fun completely from one side and forces the survivors to play sweatier against you anyway, so it's kind of like okay, but like calling it a meta good perk, I like whoever said it earlier, it was a self-report. It's like, oh, there's the red flag, wait a minute, no, I don't have the red glasses on this time, I heard that one, that's not real, that's not factual. Yeah, a lot of this video was kind of, you know, more of the same, more of like the other 10 million like, oh, Jennybee's so toxic. I just can't believe it. No other games are even like this, which is just not true. Not even remotely. Not even close. So many other games are worse and are like this. This is a gaming thing in general. I think there's kind of a, like, they did touch on it. It was like a subversion of expectations because you come in going like, well, usually the horror community is pretty chill, which I agree with. So you expect that like people, the horror game, the horror ASIM community would be good too. And it's like, no, it's just, you know, as muddy and rude and toxic as, you know, other gaming communities, unfortunately. Because most people get into Dead by Daylight just because it's a fun game and not necessarily because they're huge horror fans. I'm sure it helps. Certainly helps. I mean, I started playing the game because Myers was in it. But a lot of people play the DBD just because it's fun. So it doesn't mean they're like the kind, you know, down-to-earth horror fan base, you know? They just play the video game. No. Yeah, this video is kind of over-exaggerated and had some not-so-great takes. But, you know, basically, take it with a grain of salt.